Hello and welcome to Real Men Feel. I'm your host, author, coach, and healer, Andy Grant. You can visit theandygrant.com to learn more about how I might help you. Real Men Feel reminds men that they are human beings and have the right to experience and express all of their emotions. We have conversations that most men are not having, but that all men can benefit from. My guest today is Doc Chocolate. Doc is a former pastor turned porn star who is now a coach, content creator, and educator in the adult industry. He is also the host of the Bulls and Queens Show, an AVN-nominated swinger lifestyle podcast. Doc shares his journey from pastor to porn star and the challenge in reconciling what he does with his faith. We explore the world of alternative lifestyles, overcoming stigma, and performance anxiety. Doc also opens up about his experiences with depression and tells us one thing he wishes more men knew. Let's do it. Hello, Doc, and welcome to Real Men Feel.
Thank you, Andy. Thank you for having me.
I've got to start with your journey from being a pastor to going into the adult film industry. And so how did that unfold?
Oh man, isn't that the typical journey that a person in that's part of the church goes through, right? You're pastor, maybe a deacon, and then a year passes by after you take a bunch of offerings and you're butt ass naked, right?
Yeah, not in any church I've ever been to.
Yeah, but I mean, no, it was a crazy journey, Andy. So I'm currently 44 years old, and for most of my 20s, myself and my ex-wife, we were part of the pastorship at our church that we went to, and I would say in our early 30s, we started to transition out of the church. And a few years after that, we got into the swinging lifestyle. And then a few years after that, I found myself in porn.
Did it really just unfold like that easily? The next opportunity or, adventure was just there for you?
Yeah, man. I mean, it unfolded as ladies unfolded their legs around me.
During this journey, there must have been some personal challenges from either your inner self or people around you that you had to face.
Yeah. I think it's, like in most aspects of life, Andy, we all have our personal challenges and our fights and inner turmoil. And mine was trying to reconcile my personal faith belief in God with what I do, right? And trying to say, okay, well, is what I do horrible? Is that, is it wicked? So that was my biggest challenge that I had to overcome.
And how did you reconcile that?
Well, I basically reconciled it by coming to the conclusion that in life, we only have one life to live. And so we personally need to live it to our fullest. And no matter what you believe in or don't believe in, really, can any of us say what's is going to happen after this life that we're living here on earth? Nobody really can say that, whether one is a Christian, whether one is Jewish, Muslim, atheist, agnostic, whatever. None of us can really 100% with 100% certainty say, hey, this is what's going to happen. So I personally believe, Andy, that as long as we live a life that is based and rooted in love, the foundation of love, then that's the true aspect of human life.
So speaking of love, as a male working in porn, do you still have meaningful personal relationships? Like, do you have intimate relationships or is everything just a job?
Great question. So it's a thing where when you look at sex as a whole, I don't believe that it's just one sided, right? So, yeah, you can have sex where it's just a physical part of it and you're just having fun. But then you can also have sex where you're making love, you're having passion, and it's a way that you can connect yourself to your partner sexually, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of that. It's kind of like I would say like a basketball player, right? So like let's say you got Michael Jordan, playing in the NBA or hell, let's say LeBron James, right? And so yeah, he pays and gets paid millions of dollars to play basketball, but I'm pretty sure, on his downtime, he'll go out there, play a couple games with the son out there on the playground, right? And that's just for fun. Was that a good analogy?
Sure.
He said, sure. He's like, okay.
No, what? There's no wrong answers on Real Men Feel. It's as long as it's your answer, man. So with that said, the people that you choose to be intimate with, the people that are close to you in real life, they've got to be open. Like they can't be the jealous type, right? I mean, they can't be possessive.
Correct, correct,
So
correct.
it is so is has that been a challenge finding your, I guess, real life partners that are open and fine with your physical exercise?
So, and I'm like, hey, y'all shouldn't be trying to talk me down just because I'm trying to be physically fit and exercise and all that. You guys should be like holding me up on like a pedestal or something. But all jokes aside, my ex-wife, she was initially the one that wanted us to get into the swinging lifestyle. So she couldn't really say anything to that aspect of it, right? Because it was her pushing it along, right? And once our marriage ended, I did have a challenge finding partners that could coexist with that. And so I basically made the conclusion, Andy, that I need somebody that's a swinger, number one, and then preferably somebody that's also in the adult industry, porn star, content creator as well, right? And so there was a lady or two that they were swingers and they had issues with what I do. And now I've been with a very, very lovely lady. My girlfriend, her name is Fun Charlie, and she's also a content creator and in the adult industry. So because we're both doing the same thing, it makes it way easier for us to move forward.
Oh. Now you have what I see as a unique specialty in cuckolding.
Yeah.
For people not familiar with that entails, could you explain what that means?
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of different forms of lifestyle, Andy. And lifestyle, it basically means, according to our definition, is any type of consensual non-monogamy that two people have, right? So basically, you're stating that, hey, we can be non-monogamous, but it's consensual. Now, cuckolding is a certain subset within that where it's typically going to be a man and his wife, and only the wife plays with other people. And the cuck, the husband, he only has sex with his wife, if at all, because there's some cuckolds that they don't have sex at all. You know, they just get teased and humiliated and they love the denial. And that's how they get off sexually.
I can comprehend a lot of fetishes, even though I haven't taken part in them, but this is one that I I I can't yet. So it's really the that being humiliated is part of the man's enjoyment.
Yep,
All
sure
right.
is.
Hmm. And does it somehow bring a couple? Does it empower the couple somehow after the fact, or is it just a guy that likes humiliation?
Well, I mean, typically, when you look at it from like a 50,000 foot, 60,000 foot overview, Andy, typically guys that are in high profile careers, or like, let's say they're CEOs, let's say they're, men of power in their vanilla daytime life, they don't want to come and have their sexual experience be one where they have to be in control, right? They want to be able to yield up that control and be submissive to somebody. And so when you look at cuckolding, that's more of an extremer side of submission, and that's how they get off, and I've been there and done that, before in my, life, I mean, I've never been to a point where I'm like, hey, I'm going to put my dick in a cage and get, totally humiliated, but I like to get tied up and, uh beat around a little bit.
So you went. So you're a swinger in your personal private lifestyle,
Correct.
and then start videotaping, start making it more professional, and then, like, how did you what got you into this kind of subgenre?
So basically, I mean, yeah. So I was a swinger, and I've always been exhibitionist in how I roll, Andy. And so I was always taking like, video clips of me playing with other guys' wives. And typically that's who I was playing with. I was and playing means having sex. I was playing with other guys' wives. And, initially I was like, wow, I don't have to really bring anything to the table. I could just play with your wife and, there's no reciprocation. And, guys were like, yeah, I just want to see you fuck my wife. And I was like, okay, done deal. Right. And so I have my own podcast. It's called the Bulls and Queens Show. And we talk about lifestyle things and the nature of it and all that. And I would interview people that were making a crap ton of money on OnlyFans and other platforms. And, as I'm talking to them, I'm thinking in my head, Andy, well, man, they're over here making 10, 15, $20,000 a month, and they're selling videos, and I've been taking videos for free like the past 5 years. I was like, I think I need to jump on this train. And so that's how I started doing it, because a lot of people, they made a lot of money, especially starting off during the pandemic.
Do you have any advice for someone, a man trying to get over the stigma of interest in alternative lifestyles?
Yeah, yeah. My thing with it is overcoming the stigma is you just have to come to the realization that people are going to judge you no matter what. Number one. And then additionally, number two is nobody gives a damn about you. Let's just be real. The people that are judging you, they don't care about you. If you wound up dead on the side of a street or whatever, they don't care about you. And those are the people that are judging you. And those are the people that we kill ourselves trying to seek approval from and all that. It's, to hell with them, in my opinion. Just live your life. If you want to be a cuck, go do it. If you want to wear like skirts and dresses and whatever, if you want to go do whatever, as long as you're not causing harm to other people, my feeling is go do you.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was really younger and battling, like, what does everyone think about me? And oh no, I better not do this, that, whatever it is. Then I realized, most people are so focused on beating themselves up, they're judging themselves. They aren't really judging us as much as we assume they are.
Correct, correct. And what I've seen, Andy, in life is that the people that are winning in life and the people that are like at the highest apex of whatever field that they're in, they're not judging, they're living their life. The only people that are judging you are trolls or people that are trying to judge you because they want to make themselves feel good.
Yeah,
So like, who am I to, oh, some loser wants to judge me? I don't care. The winners out there, they're not judging me.
yeah.
And I,
So,
and I think that does come with age, Andy. You and
mm,
me both, where we got a few years on us. We got a couple grays in our beards and whatnot, right? Bald heads, right? So we know, hey, we're not going to keep on living our lives seeking approval of people that don't really matter.
yeah. So besides your own willingness to do the uncharted path by the masses and your ability to reconcile that with your faith in God, how have you seen society's attitudes towards all the alternative lifestyles that you play in change, or has it changed over the past few years?
Yeah, yeah. I think as time progresses, I believe we are getting a bit more liberal in our beliefs and what we accept. Obviously, we have a new administration coming in that's not liberal, and that's okay. It is what it is. But I see slowly as time does progress, we're becoming more accepting of people that are outside of that vanilla you know, vein of life, right?
Mm,
And so things that used to be taboo are becoming a little bit less taboo, because people are coming to the realization that hey, we don't all need to walk the same walk, right? We don't all need to drive a black Ford Model T. We can drive whatever we want to drive.
have you always been so comfortable in your own skin? You really have a confidence, and that you said you're an exhibitionist. Has that always been your nature?
I would say to a higher or lesser degree, Andy, it has been. Obviously, I would say when I was young, maybe junior high, I did go through a spell where I lacked a lot of confidence. But I got into high school, started lifting weights, was in sports, um, and that started giving me more confidence in life overall. I have dealt with depression pretty heavily over the past few years, and I know that's something that real men feel. Uh, you guys delve in that, the mental health aspect of it. But it's a journey. It's a journey for all of us.
So, was your periods of depression uh, during your adult period, during the cuckolding period, before it, or I mean, does what you were doing have anything to do with how you were feeling?
It was more life circumstances, right? So it wasn't directly correlated to adults, but yeah, I've been dealing with it pretty much all my adult life. And then I got diagnosed, and I think I'm bipolar one or whatever it's called. But I've been medicated for about 8 years, I want to say, and things started to get a little bit more extreme, in my mental toll because I had a business that was very high stress, and that business went bankrupt. I almost lost my damn mind, and then during that time period, my father died, and then it's rough when one parent dies, but when both parents are gone, you almost feel like an orphan, and so that
Well, you technically, I believe you are.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
you are,
yeah.
right? And that took a big toll on me, and then my marriage was ending, and that took a big toll on me as well. And so when your money is funny and your family is breaking down and pretty much all the important pillars in your life are crashing down, a lot of times you got to have a come to Jesus talk with yourself, and I think a lot of guys go through that in life, and unfortunately some guys aren't able to make it. I call
Mm,
them casualties.
mm. A lot of men are hesitant to take any sort of mental health pharmaceuticals because many of them have side effects sexually. And well, I shouldn't assume anything. Has that been an issue for you?
It's funny because my girlfriend, she asked me about that because I was taking Zoloft, and I didn't know it gave people ED generally. It didn't really have any issue for me, but I did switch to Wellbutrin, and I think I'm seeing a bit more of a positive effect. But I've always been pretty healthy, so I've always drank a lot of water, watched my diet, higher protein, and exercise a lot. And I take horny goat weed every day, so that's probably my secrets. And and that in conjunction with everything else I do, I think that probably mitigated the negative effects of Zoloft.
Cool. So right now, your full time job is porn.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Getting
Is
butt
it?
ass naked on camera.
Is there a particular aspect of it that you like the most? Like content creation, solo with your girlfriend, with other people? Like what still gets you going?
So I like the hot wifing aspect of porn, basically me with other guys' wives. And I also like when I have multiple ladies in on a scene. So if I have two, three, four, uh, I think my max has been 5 at one time, and, that just gets me off. And, matter of fact, my girlfriend, Charlie, and I, we had a lady that was another creator. She was visiting us in Vegas from Denver, and we had a weekend together, made some good content, and, had a blast of a time. So that's always a fun time for me.
One of the things you do is that husbands hire you and fly you out to wherever they are with this couple, and so the having sex with wives isn't just like people you meet at the supermarket. Like people seek you out and hire you for this.
Yeah. Hey, they're like, clean up in aisle 3. She squirted. There's husbands that will fly me out, and they have a fantasy, and I basically, my thing, Andy, is I want to make their fantasy their reality. And so yeah, fly me out, and we'll have some fun.
If you could talk to your younger pastor self, any advice in hindsight that you would give uh, to make the transformation easier, or to do something else entirely? What would you say?
Start taking Rogaine at an early age so you retain your hairline. No, be serious. I would say enjoy the journey and don't take yourself too seriously. That would be my biggest key piece of advice.
You make it sound, and I think the fantasy for most guys is that being a male porn star is just like almost like being, a different element of like being a rock star, and then the world is your oyster, and all you 5 women with you all the time, and all this stuff. What's the downside of this lifestyle?
So the downside of the lifestyle is a lot of guys do have a fantasy about, oh, I want to be a porn star, and you're banging all these hot chicks, right? But the thing is, there is performance anxiety, right? So anytime you have cameras on and whatnot, you're thinking in your head, hey, I gotta, have the right angles, I gotta do this and that. They're expecting XYZ. They're expecting me to plow the hell out of wifey or whomever. And so you have to deal with that. So it's not all like, sugar and kisses and all that with porn. I would say also that, you do have to be safe, right? So like a lot of people don't think about the health aspect of it.
Mhm.
So when you're in the adult industry, you're doing porn, you're typically getting tested every 7 to 14 days. So you're
Right.
getting a full panel test. So you're getting tested for HIV, hepatitis, syphilis, gonorrhea, chlamydia, Amgen, and trichomonas. And then you're also getting swabs, anal and oral. And, you got to make sure you're clean, right? And, last year I took about maybe 20 to 25 tests, I want to say, throughout the year. And so, yeah, that's always a tough time, getting stabbed and, prodded and all that.
And I got to imagine beyond traditional performance anxiety that as a porn star, that a Midwest run of the mill couple hiring you, like it's almost like perfection anxiety, like because you are the visiting rock god coming to town, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's funny, Andy, is that's actually easier for me to do, just because these women, they're typically not, performers, So like if I'm doing a porn scene, I may pick up the wife, I may be, standing up, I may have her up on my shoulders, and I may be tossing her around and all that. But if I'm with somebody that's just been having, regular missionary sex, for the past 20 to 25 years, that's the easy job for me.
Gotcha. All right, so
S-
it's the more stressful is kind of the professional set environment, and you're both performers, and cool.
yeah, yeah, 100%.
All right. I think you said you were a coach as well. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
how does that show up? Coaching people for what?
So there's a lot of people that are in the adult space that do want to be coached on how to create this as a business. Because the issue that a lot of people have when they want to do porn, OnlyFans, or whatever, is they don't know anything about branding, marketing, the sales side of it, and all of that. And so that's something that I do coach people on as well. There's some guys that will come to me and they want to know how to perform better with their wives. And so I'll coach them on that as well.
I want to ask, has being a cuck ever appealed to you?
I think, Andy, that's it's almost like saying that somebody's totally liberal or totally conservative, right? At the end of the day, not too many of us are extreme, right? A lot of us are moderates, right? And so I'd say I'm more moderate, but I lean more towards the, hey, I want to bang your wife side of things, right? But there is a part of me that does like just watching, right? So there's a side of me, Andy, that just loves watching my partner just get totally railed by a dude, or just love seeing her with another woman as well. Well, I think all of us guys would love to see our woman with another woman, but but yeah, there's a side of me that does like that. Now, would I ever put my dick in a cage? Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. But yeah, apart from that, yeah.
You need a strong cage if you're ever going to go there. Is that the issue? They're not making world class cages for you. So, Doc, you lead a very interesting life, and you've had a lot of experience, and I really appreciate your openness about the depression and things that you faced. Is there anything that stands out top of mind that you wish more men knew?
I wish more men knew to get in touch with their inner self, their feelings, and I know that sounds, kind of like, oh, feelings and whatnot, but I feel like a lot of men want to be super alpha. And yeah, we all do have alpha qualities about us. But again, not being too extreme, we all do have beta qualities about us as well. And we need to embrace both the alpha side of ourselves and the beta side of ourselves. And I believe that's how we become a fuller man.
Cool. Gotcha. Yeah. To accept our totality, not just see this one aspect and try to present that. Because, I find the quickest way to know someone is not an alpha male is all the guys that go, I'm an alpha male. Like when that's,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. 100%. I literally, Andy said that the other day. Yeah. Like a true alpha male doesn't need to announce that he's an alpha male.
Right.
No.
Excellent. Doctor, is there anything else that you want to share with the world here?
Yeah. I would say, like I just want to commend you, Andy, for what you do on your podcast, on the Real Men Feel podcast. And I love what you are doing for mankind. And I would say keep on doing what you're doing. I love the words authenticity, vulnerability, and compassion. So those are like three good tags that all of us men need to follow. And just keep living your life, guys. Find support in each other. Don't be or try to think that you're a lone wolf and you're at this by yourself. There's a brotherhood that you can connect to, and so use it. And then also make sure that you give your skills and your effort and your resources to help other brothers.
So, yeah, I really appreciate, and I'm kind of surprised that in the adult industry, that authenticity, vulnerability, compassion are connecting, and I didn't really think of it, but that I love talking to men that are being of service, and
Yeah.
you're being of service in a very different manner than usual, but you're being of service. So, again, Doc, thanks for joining us today. Everyone listening, thanks for joining us wherever you're catching us. Please visit realmenfeel.org. There will be a blog post for this episode. We'll have safe links to track Doc down and see what he's up to. Wherever you're discovering Real Men Feel, please subscribe, like, follow, share this episode with somebody, post a review or comment. And if you are not clear on where you want to go this year, I invite you to have a clarity call with me. We'll find out what your goals are and what's in the way of making them happen. Visit theandygrant.com/talk. And until next time, be good to yourself.